Hey, what's up, Big L? I wanted to introduce everyone to the people that started that did the Tulsa billboard. Her name's Marisa and Chad.
Hi,
They live
everyone.
pretty close to me, and thought everybody might want to meet them since we've been talking about it. So let's see. Well, you guys introduce yourselves and and tell us how this came to happen, and we'll see we'll get into other discussions from there.
Um,
Hi, I'm Chad.
yeah, that's it. I'm Marissa. We decided to do this billboard because the other billboard that just said research flat earth was crucified in the media. So I wanted to put up something that was more visually appealing, and it was done on the spur of the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty much just all to, get other people to question it and look into it. That was our real goal, just to open people's eyes.
I've never done this kind of hangout or live chat or anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Marissa's very new to YouTube and even hangout calls and stuff. So, but she has a lot to say, and I just wanted everyone to meet her and hear the story behind how they started a Flat Earth Club and what led up to putting the billboard up in Tulsa. So, yeah, tell me about Flat Earth Club and how long has that been going on?
It's actually only been a couple months. I don't know if you guys know Scott Phillips, but he does the graphics for our group. And I was buying some graphics off of him, and I didn't want the club on the end of it. His graphics say Flat Earth Club over a Flat Earth map, and I didn't want the club on the end of it because we didn't actually like have a club. So he was like, "Well, let's make one." So we got some other people together from Flat Earth in Christ that we had both of us had like come to start talking to, and so we started this club, and it really did absolutely nothing until we thought of the billboard. So it sat pretty much dormant for a couple months. Like there wasn't much activity. Like people would just like post stuff in there, and then a few remarks, but not much at all. I'm gonna try to share this in some other groups. Talk to us.
When I first went on to the Flat Earth Club Facebook page, there was just a little over 100, which was not too bad numbers for a group. But
Yeah.
how
When
many
I
are there now?
started, the day that it came out, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm new to this. But the day that it came out, I had 113 people in my Flat Earth group. It was quite sad.
Yeah,
But now we're growing, and we want to make it an information group for people to come and get the information, because you see it in Flat Earth groups, all of the other Flat Earth groups. Like you'll post in one, if you lose some information, it's hard to go back and find it if you're trying to talk about it to somebody else. So we're trying to set a group that they can actually come and find the research instead of defaulting to the Flat Earth Society, which everybody knows is a bunch of crap. It's chill. Like I don't even know what a shadow object is, but somebody tried to tell me that I was crazy because of a shadow object, and like that's what really caught me as far as like needing a place for new beginners to come and like actually do the research. Because if you just put research flat earth and give them absolutely nowhere to start, then they're more than likely not going to do it. Am I wrong?
So now you have over 542. I just looked at it. 542 members now, and that. How long has the billboard been? Not even 2 weeks now.
Today, yesterday started its second week, and it's at its new location, which when we were driving up here, we actually saw it on the side of the highway, so that was really fun for us.
We drove by and I was like, look, there it is, babe. Like, oh.
I'm excited. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited about this. Like, it's just, I mean, it really had, I didn't think twice about doing it. It just kind of happened. And the way that it happened was absolutely amazing. There were signs at every turn. And I don't know if you guys believe that we are all connected. But like the address of this place was so connected to my life, it wasn't even funny. Like, I mean, I could go into this. I try not to be spiritual when talking about flat Earth because I know a lot of people don't think the same.
Say whatever you want. We talked about a lot of that the other night. This is my, you come on there and say whatever you want, and that's why I wanted, if we're gonna have someone join later, I'll be selected. You can discuss that if you want, and I can. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Well, the address of the place, it was 7777 East 38th Street. And we all know God does everything in sevens, like seventh-day Sabbath, on the seventh day he rested. He does pretty much everything in sevens. And then I've been following Torah. So I looked up what 38 meant in Hebrew, and it actually means life's work. So like that kind of hit me at my heart because like when I was raising my kids, like I would always ask them, how do I even start with this? I had a very bad childhood, and raising my kids, I was always questioning like what my purpose in life was. And so I always thought that, maybe I was raising my daughter and my son to go on and do something else and they could help some other people, that kind of thing. But then when I looked up 38 and it said life work, it really hit my heart. And part of me, I get emotional because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, I think we all are. This is important.
So, and then my daughter's name is Shelby. She's 23 years old. She has never ever had the same color hair, I think, ever. She's got tattoos all over her. She's had tongue rings and nose rings and all kinds of things. And I walk into this designer, that's going to do the graphics for the billboard. And her name is Shelby. She's 23 and she's got a nose ring. Like I felt so comfortable because I was so nervous that I kept praying about it. When I was introduced to this Shelby, like it just, all of my fears, all of my concerns about how this might, the implications of what come back on me, like the press that we just got from Philadelphia Voice, like that kind of stuff. I was really worried about that kind of backlash. So like when I went in there, I felt so comfortable. I knew it was just what I was supposed to be doing. So that's really like why I did it. I was mad. I was mad they persecuted flat earth media.
You guys are pretty active in apparently around in their community, and they both drove here from Oklahoma wearing flat earth t-shirts and aren't afraid to tell everybody that the earth is flat. Obviously, we
got the stickers on our car. Yeah,
Here, let me see
they're
if I
like
can
big
pull
flat
one
Earth
up.
stickers right on the back window.
Maybe I can load it on to my computer.
So we're not like someone stops at a stoplight behind us and they see that sticker and they go, I wonder.
Well, I don't think they wonder. But
Yeah,
it's planting a seed, and that's what my main goal is.
They probably go, oh man, look at these idiots.
No, we're not idiots.
No, they're not.
Have you seen, Dennis? Have you seen that maze or that meme where the lady's parking in the handicap spot, and then the cop comes up, and they're like, "Man, this is a handicap spot," and then the driver goes,
"Oh my god, babe, don't bring that up."
Then the
They
driver,
make us look
it's
like
funny.
stupid. It makes
It
us
was
look
funny.
stupid.
It was funny. Then the driver goes, "I think the Earth is flat," and they say, "Okay, you can park here."
This is.
It
It makes us look bad.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
It makes us look very bad.
it's funny.
It's not funny.
I think it's funny.
I take offense to that kind of stuff because, like, I spent 10 years of my life studying math and physics when I could have been, spending that time with my kids and, like, not having to go through and not still owe $20,000 in student loans. I'm mad, and I want everybody to know, and I will do whatever it takes down to my last penny to make it known. Which it did, actually. It took just about every penny we had.
We were good.
It was expensive, very expensive.
You said you opened a GoFundMe account,
I did open a GoFundMe account, but it got $10 from one person before the billboard went up, and I've gotten 110 cents. So thank you, everybody who did donate to that. I plan on putting the 119 that I got from GoFundMe after their fees towards the next one. It might take me a little bit. Do they talk back in here? Like, why would they want to sit here and listen to me like this? Do they talk back to us?
sometimes, yes. Yeah.
Can you guys talk back, please?
They just thumbs it up. I forgot to thumbs it up, so it'll be tweeted because I automatically, and I'll tweet it anyway too.
What's that mean?
Forgot. What, thumbs up? See right down below the screen. It tells you how many people are watching, and
Okay.
then you can hit thumbs up. That way, it'll add more. It'll go higher on the search. And I forgot about that.
Well, how many times can I like this thumbs up thing?
Just once. If you hit it again, it'll take it back off.
I'm sorry, guys, that I'm super new to this YouTube thing. I barely even know how to turn it from PlayStation, from his login to my login, so I can log on to my YouTube.
And I've tried to show her.
And I'm just not good at this. I'm like anything else you guys want to know, let me know. I'll tell you. But like this,
I wasn't good at it either when I
not
first
me.
started. I wasn't good at it either. But I'm a
Well, I
computer
want
guy,
to
so
start learning so that I can start talking to people. Can you guys please talk back? There's 8 of y'all.
Vlad said he was listening. He's flat still Earth, and
Oh.
And Morky Love said she thumbs it up. Is it Morky or he? I don't remember if Morky's a he or a she, but anyway, he said he thumbs it up and left.
Now that there's more than just a couple of us in here.
There's 10 now.
I'd like to tell y'all that it was his idea. It was Chad's idea to ask the question. It was my idea for the billboard, but his contribution to it was very, very important. And like it's been put out there that it was just me when it wasn't just me. It's our money, and it was both of us. We both put it together. So, I've been getting a lot of thank yous and stuff on my Facebook page, but I would like to give him credit where credit is due as well. So, thank you, Chad, for helping us with the billboard.
You're welcome, babe.
I just posted a link on. Oh, okay. So maybe I shouldn't read that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a wrench in there. So all I could do was go in there and post that were on my channel. So I think that brought a few, and so hopefully we can get some more in here
Yeah, I'd like to
pretty soon.
talk to people. You know, I'd like to know how other people came to flat Earth and how we can maybe spread out.
Yeah, tell them the story about how you came up with the question on the sign, as opposed to.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just
You
I
tell
was
me.
thinking that, it's going to be on a billboard on a busy freeway. Like, you just want something quick, just something short and easy to see from while you're driving. Because when you're driving, you're paying attention more to the road and not, you look up for a second, look up for a second over here. You know what I mean?
They're not
But-
talking back, so.
But I was just like, you got to have something just quick. Just ask a little question.
So
And I
I
actually said, just put something like, "Is the Earth flat?" And then, like, even in big letters or something, just.
was
is it
going
flat?
to do
Is
a
it
proof
flat?
anyway, because once the research flat Earth billboard in Philly, not that that wasn't a great billboard, you guys, thank you for the push. I needed it. But since there was no proof and it didn't really give anywhere to go, or you know what I mean. So I wanted to like show a proof to get people thinking. Because once he said that flat, to ask the question, then I wanted to. It reminded me that once humans are asked a question, they have to answer it. They answer it automatically in their mind, and they can't not answer it. So we decided to put that on there with the proof. Now I didn't put the I wanted to put like both of the altitudes at 121,000, but 121,000 feet. But it looked too busy for the 2 seconds you have when you drive by. But at its first location, it was actually coming off of the bypass. You could see it better at the top of the hill, and it's a 3-lane bypass. It's like one of the busiest intersections in Tulsa. So once you come off of that, you're stuck there at that light. So the question you see is like 3 or 4 times. And since we work in the casino, some of our guests have actually come and like they're asking people, is the Earth flat? Is the Earth flat? Is the Earth flat? Not knowing that it was our billboard. So it's just been a couple, but we're getting bigger. Just talk. They can hear us. They're not talking.
But you
back
were
to us,
talking.
then.
You were talking.
Oh.
Carolyn, I'm from Oregon. I moved here from Oregon too. What part are you at? We haven't really experienced like personal reaction from the public. We're blackjack dealers at a casino. I'm not going to name the casino, but we're blackjack dealers at a casino, and we had a player come in, and he went straight to my girlfriend, and I guess he just drove past it because he showed up and he was like, "Hey, Marissa, is the Earth flat?
So
Do you think it's flat or do you think it's round?" And when I came in, he saw me and he was like, "Chad, do you think the Earth is flat?" And I said, "Yep." And so, I mean, people are definitely seeing it.
I'm not allowed to talk about flat Earth at work. I got in trouble because they label it as science and religion, which I could understand that since science is a religion. But I've already got in trouble. So if I talk about it at work, I get written up. But when the guest comes in and is yelling across the floor, "Is the Earth flat?" it makes you giggle. So are we supposed to type in that?
You can respond to them the thing. You can say hi to them by typing the @ symbol before you start typing their name, and their name will pop up in the chat. So if someone says hi to you, you want to respond.
Oh, okay.
You can just type the @ symbol and then type whatever you want after you click the thing. Or you can just
Okay.
start typing and just type their name if it's something short.
Well, I have broken my YouTube live feed cherry, I guess. I had no idea how to do this. That's why I drove 2 hours. I was like, I can't set this up. I don't know how to do this. It took us almost 3 hours to set it up.
Yeah, well, I was trying to teach her. We did some training on Hangouts before.
Yeah.
Then we
Person
talked a
needed
lot.
it. Trust me.
But let's think.
Like, I want to hear back from everybody else. Like, how are they? Like, how are they getting responded from this billboard now that there's 2? Like, is anybody else like?
Hey, you guys gonna ask any questions? I'm not good at this. I just we're just supposed to have a conversation, but I was hoping some other people might want to jump in if I see somebody that like Dave Hinkle.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Dave, you want to come in?
Welcome to join.
Is he muted? Is that what it is?
No, he's in the chat. He's listening, so I was just telling. I can send him the link to join us if he wants to come in. He's from Kentucky.
Oh. What part of Kentucky? I went to Kentucky for Passover.
I'm not sure.
How do I share this on my Facebook page? Can I just like do this link up here at the top?
I shared it. I shared a link, but you can share it again if you want. Go ahead, because people are posting stuff in there all the time. You can copy the link in the browser and then paste it in the comments. But anyway, Carolyn asked, "How did you guys get into FE?" Who wants to start? Chad, you start since she's posting the link.
Well, when Marissa did like the research, it honestly with her, like, she researches everything. Whatever she finds a fancy for, she researches it. And really, it all, like, with her, it all started with the election. Like, she got big into this election. Wasn't it her first one?
Yeah, like the first one I was ever gonna like actually vote in.
Yeah, so she started researching
what a mistake that was.
Hillary Clinton, and then, like, at first she was totally Hillary Clinton, and then she started researching shit.
No, it wasn't Hillary Clinton. I was that Johnson dude.
Oh yeah, you were Johnson.
I've never been on Hillary Clinton's side.
But yeah,
I know how she was in Arkansas.
She was like she was totally researching like Hillary Clinton, and then she was like, I don't know, I'm gonna go over to Trump, and then she just found something. What was it? That video of Obama saying about we don't have time for the flat Earth society. Yeah, she saw that, and then she was like, what the hell? And then she started doing research on flat Earth, and then she was pointing out all this stuff that she was finding, and
you can't miss it once you start looking, and I don't understand why people just don't look. I mean, it took me a little bit to like watch something, but it took me a minute to do it. But once I did, I was glad I did.
So she started researching it, and she started believing in it and stuff, and then she would point stuff out to me, and then I would look into like videos and watch some stuff, and then for me, I think what really got me was like the flight patterns. And that's when I like actually started believing, when I looked up like flight paths and some of the videos on flight paths. Because like when they point out like, why do you have to fly north through Canada to go from, was it LA to Australia?
Oh yeah, I tried to book that flight. That's such bullshit. It says on the webpage that it's 12 hours, but when you like click on it to go and book the flight, it turns into a 14-hour flight. Yeah, that was pretty much, that was it.
But then they showed like, you know, where they have to go north and stuff, like something like that, back down south to Australia, and like all the international flights all like going through north, go north, and then go south. And
Babe,
then
I think they know all of that. Most
Yeah.
of them are flat earthers too.
Yeah. sorry, I'm rambling.
He's been drinking.
I've only had a few.
That's okay. That was a long ride though. But now I know how to do this.
No media's respond to the billboard yet, but we got a talk show radio.
Oh yes, there has been.
Oh, has there?
Yes, there has been. The voice of the OU. Hold on, let me see if I can.
That billboard's gonna be Dave. That billboard's gonna be up for a month. There's another week at this location, and it switches to 2 more different locations.
No, it's gonna go back to the one on 71st, and then back to the same one. What's his name?
What's Dave saying?
Are there more people here?
Yeah, they're starting to come in.
No, I meant like that can talk too.
We'd like to hear from you guys.
Yes, please. Like this is not about. This is about us. Us. Like we did this for us. For
All of
real
us.
flat earthers, like all of us.
You can.
But the guy's name is I'm trying. Where'd he go? Jeffrey. Yes, so many things on here. I know I passed it.
I hope it's not Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, it's not Jeffrey Dahmer,
okay.
silly. How many conversations?
That link, Carol. So I'll be right back. I'll be right with that. She wants to know if we can post the link. She'll share it and NODD's thing, and then I guess share the link to this hangout again. So try to get some more people in here.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
appreciate that, Carol.
Let me see if I can. I wish they would talk back to us. How do they? Can they?
There's certain people I can invite. I can invite in here to talk to, face to face or in the hangout. But I'm in. Yeah.
Oh, so not everybody watching can say stuff.
Everybody watching can type in the chat, but not everybody that's watching is typing in the chat. They're just listening.
Oh, okay, I get it.
You see the amount of people watching under the video? It says on mine it says 12 watching now.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how many people are listening. So but I'm waiting I want somebody else to come in, but it's just got to be certain people that I know. So I'm looking for people to show up in the chat, and then I'll know if they'll tell me if they want to come in, and then I'll go ahead and send in the link so they can jump in and talk to you.
Oh, okay. I just want to know how other people came to it too. I was mad. Like I started researching Huma Abedin and how she had special government access to still be a counselor to Saudi Arabia. I was mad.
Oh yeah, she went deep into the research too.
That's how I know. Like I shouldn't even have voted. Where is? Like I just talked to him yesterday.
Big L asked me if it was up for an open panel, which the panel's open for people to come in, but
Yeah.
But it's got to be someone I know, or yeah. So.
How do you do that?
Huh? Did you say how many do I know, or what did you say?
How do you do that?
Oh, I'll do it. I'll do that from here. They'll just pop on and start talking.
Okay.
She's looking into Facebook trying to find something. So
they do this on Facebook, guys. We do it on YouTube. They do it on Facebook. So she doesn't.
The
really
guy
has
that
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. the guy from 101.1, I lost his message. I'm not. So many people have said, like, thank you,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, I
for
heard.
doing it. And I'm trying to find him.
Well, flat still Earth, you have a good night with that.
What?
Wink, wink, wink. All right,
What?
flat still Earth. Enjoy your date night, my friend.
Yeah, man, it stinks, Flat. I'd like you to come in.
He's got to rub that in. All right.
Yeah, no, I saw. I can see it.
It's date
I'd
night.
like for him to come in. He's a really cool dude.
All right on.
But let me think.
I hope he's
I don't
doing
even know
more
what
than
else
just
to
sitting there
talk
with a
about.
jar of
Like, we
honey.
did this.
really know what the wink wink meant, but
I think he's trying to get some. I think that's what that meant.
it meant, you know, that's what I was thinking. But it's not what I first thought, though.
Oh, there it is. There it is. He does a Bartlesville. His name is Joseph Riddle. He's got like a Bartlesville radio station. It's 101.1. He's been asking his boss, how can I share something like this? Because he gave me like he sent me the letter that he. Can I share this with somebody? Hey, can I send this to you? Yeah, it's like on one of my messengers. Can I share that? Well, like for them to read it. Oh, okay. Okay, I can pull it up on the computer. Sorry, guys. How long do these things usually go? They really want to sit here and listen to me out. Okay. There's 200 people in there? Well, maybe we should start over and have people. Yeah, let's get some other people in here. That'll work. Sounds good to me. He does, Carolyn. He does want to interview somebody about flat Earth. He sent me the letter. I'm trying to pull it up. That he sent to his producers. So we're still waiting on confirmation for that. Let me see if I can pull it up in the messenger. My computer sucks, by the way.
Dave, I'm going to send you the link, and if you don't have anything to say, just sit there. And but I haven't seen you at a loss for words yet, so if you're bored, I'll send you the link anyway, and then you can jump in if you want to.
Somebody's trying to message me, and I'm trying to get to it.
This is why I don't do videos by myself, just sitting there talking, because
I don't think I could do this. Like, you guys do this a lot?
well, usually, yeah, we do it a lot, like every day. Like either you're in the chat or you're sometimes on the panel or whatever, or communicating with each other, yeah, and following what's going on in the flat Earth community here, and look, you guys do on Facebook, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. So we can do it through video and share information through the Hangouts, which is pretty easy. You can just start a conversation with someone on there, just like you do on Facebook, you know, and private conversations, or you can add a bunch of people to that you want to send multiple messages to or invite, and you can then, once you have a Hangout created, then you can do a private video call and stuff like that. So Hangouts is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're nice around here too.
Get some brutal people.
Somebody saying something?
Well, then no.
Dang it.
Well, maybe.
I think
Oh, okay.
Ian said, talk about the ether and how it. Oh, is it? Oh, never mind. I don't think that's the same thing. About the ether and how it interacts with the universe and the second law of thermodynamics.
Okay.
You don't have to answer that question, though.
No,
Because,
I will.
yeah, go ahead if you have some opinion on what that might. But he's not giving me a context, or he may have. I just haven't read it all yet. I'm doing something else.
He wants to know about the aether. Well, the Sagnat experiment proved that the aether exists, and then is that what he wants to know?
I don't know what he wants.
What do you want, man?
What do you want, Diane? That's the question.
Who even put that? I didn't put that.
And then my thing's stuff's freezing up here. My computer's getting slow.
Mine's close.
And then Facebook open.
Okay.
What the hell? I'm getting pop-ups. Where did that come from?
The Disney Conservation Fund has helped to conserve more than 400 species around the world and protected over 140,000 species. Cast members at Disney's Animal Kingdom are always on hand to tell guests how they can do their part to support the fund.
Where's all the rest?
I guess there are some new people that haven't heard how I came across the flat Earth subject, so I guess I can talk about that. I've been a conspiracy theorist for a long time. Since, I don't know, I just never trusted the government. That was my thing. Or necessarily media, even though I was a fan of television and all that stuff and movies, and didn't really see through the whole thing. It takes a while to learn all that stuff. But I did find out about 9/11, whatever. A lot of people did that, but I had been following deep inside the rabbit hole for a while because of the 9/11 Sandy Hook and stuff like that. And so he started posting flat Earth stuff, and I thought it was really kind of. I thought he was kind of losing his mind or something. I was like, what the hell does he keep talking about flat Earth for? And I didn't know he had the Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole radio show at the time, or I don't know if he did at the time. I went back and listened to it now, but and I just kind of dismissed it. I mean, I looked at his other stuff. I liked his interviews, but I didn't really think that was even a thing. So I kind of dismissed it. And then I heard Edward Hendry on a interview on Tex Mars radio show. And Tex Mars had him on there for that book that he wrote, the Greatest Lie on Earth, I think is what it's called. And Edward Hendry, and I'd heard him in interviews before. They talk about, the Illuminati and the New World Order and all that stuff. But I just couldn't believe that I was like, why do you got this flat Earth guy on there? And then so he made some good points, and so I checked out the videos that I was dismissing before, and didn't sleep for 3 days until I watched them all, and then these hangouts started coming on, and well, the hangouts were already going on because as soon as there were some live hangouts when I started researching it on YouTube, so I've been stuck ever since, pretty much. Stuck on YouTube and telling as many people as I feel like certain situations you can't just bring it up to everybody, you know. But
I do.
I'm sure you do. That's why I'm saying you guys are activists.
I'm pissed.
I don't like to talk, so.
I just
Oh, I guess I
always
can't send this. Is there a way to like post this in there where people can see this? This letter?
probably.
It was like a message he sent to me.
Oh, Dave
The-
Hinkle?
The OU guy.
The radio guy.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know how to share it.
Okay, to the left of your screen on our call screen.
Okay, I gotta find a page to like put it on, so I'm gonna have to. Maybe I can just open up. Never mind. Go ahead and keep talking. I'll try to figure something
I'm
out.
just saying on the page of your call screen, when you hover your mouse over the screen, there's a little menu that pops up on the left side. Or you can also on the side of, you know what I'm talking about? Can you see it? The call
No,
screen.
it says I can only do 200 at a time.
Do you know the screen where you can mute your mic and stuff like that? That's the call. It's a.
Okay. Okay. Let me like type it out, or let me get it on my background somehow.
You can also share a link in the chat, but I mean it'd be better if you.
It's not a link. Like it's something he sent me on
okay.
a Facebook chat.
Okay. You got it up now?
It's like an actual letter he sent to his producer.
Okay. On this to the left side of that screen, once you have it pulled up.
No, it won't let me. It's got 3,000 characters, and it'll only let you put 2,000 in there.
Oh, you're gonna try to put it in the chat?
I was,
oh yeah, you
but
can
I
only
can't.
type 200 characters. I didn't know. Okay, well let me
Yeah, I'm not
if you can
elegant
open-
enough speech. That's
you
why
can
I
open.
don't.
Maybe
I'm gonna open OneNote and see if I can just.
yeah, if you can share it that way. Did you already read it? How long is it?
It's a little bit. Go ahead and keep talking. Now I have to sign in.
I can't talk while I'm looking at the screen. I'm gonna
And somebody else.
I want you guys to talk. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what to say. I do know. Well, I was kind of in the middle of my flutter testimony, but not really in the middle. That was pretty much the end of it. I've been stuck here messing with these folks for almost 2 years now. And I know the Earth's flat.
I know they're at this flat. For real.
Is it really flat?
It's flattish. It appears to be.
Yeah, it's flat.
So
It's flat.
I just don't know if I agree with the whole unending. But like as far as I can tell right now, we can't find an end. So
yeah, no, we're not able to get up.
My favorite thing is when you ask a glove head about gravity, they just like pick something up and drop. Like, you know what I mean? You ask them, hey, prove gravity to me. All they do is they pick something up and drop and go, there you go. Throw their hands up in the air and they're like, there you go. That's gravity. I dropped this pen and that proves gravity.
Yeah, we all know.
Oh, it doesn't prove nothing.
It's fall.
Yeah. It just makes
This
me
is supposed
laugh.
to be sending me a send code. We were not prepared for this. Like, we should have prepared a little better.
No, we're cool. We got 18 people watching. Just seeing what's going on. Specs out there. Cigar
But
face. Dave Hinkle's still out there.
I wish I could
Yeah,
have
David.
got on there.
Yeah, Dave. I got a big billboard a couple weeks ago, and I found them on Facebook. I just happened to see somebody post something about someone saying that someone was putting a billboard up in Tulsa, and I clicked that link and found the Flat Earth Club where they talked about it. And so I contacted Marissa and told her it was pretty cool. And so that's how we. And then we've kind of been texting back and forth, and I was like, I need to see if I can get you on. And she didn't know anything about Hangouts or us doing this thing on YouTube. And so she decided to come up here and meet me because they're how long? About just a few hours away. A couple hours.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it wasn't very far.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how far it was.
Hell, I'm taking a 3-hour drive tomorrow. Durant visit family.
I just want.
I wasn't sure if you guys were right in Tulsa or right outside.
Yeah, we live in Bixby. It's just right outside of like downtown. We're like 5 minutes from that billboard.
Yeah.
This is making me like sign into everything just to like get a note so I can paste it on my. I hate this thing.
Well, just read it out. You'd already had it read by now.
No kidding. Okay. So here's what it says. You know, some people are smarter than me. We shouldn't. I gotta remember that.
Put it down here so I can see.
Okay.
Charlotte wants me to play a song.
Okay, so he contacted me because he saw the billboard and
Just gonna delete all this.
he wanted to put it on 101.1, I believe. So he sent this letter to his producer, and it says, "Sir Pat, how you be? Been listening a lot lately to your really big show. Still going strong. Good job. Saw something that I thought, given the right personality, might be an interest interview for talk radio. And as they say in Oklahoma, Vienna, that is the real word used in a report given by OSU college student in one of my classes in 1989. Okie translation being as. Okay, so I think that was a little rabbit trail. And being as you are the only true talk radio guy around these parts, I thought of you. Off 169, someone has paid quite a bit of money for this billboard, and he sent him the picture. It's my understanding that these individuals are paying for these independently in cities. I've heard of it in Philadelphia, I think. Anyway, I made a Facebook contact with the person responsible for Tulsa's. I'm interested in this new wave though being pushed mainly through YouTube and the internet. Barack Obama even commented the Flat Earth Society in a speech, but these people even denounced the Flat Earth Society. From what I have seen from their post, the girl from Tulsa is getting ready to do an experiment regarding the moon and its light, as I have seen experiments done on YouTube. I think it would be interesting to talk to her and find out about this Tulsa group, why it's growing, and what they hope to accomplish with just one person buying a billboard in a city. I just stumbled on the topic myself. I thought the whole thing was silly. I set out to disprove it. So far, I haven't been able to. This is also surprisingly a very, very emotional topic for people. Not the people asking questions, the people buying the billboards. But I find just asking questions to people that I hold in high regard, people I deem brighter and more educated in the scientific world, that I can result than I can result in ridicule, name calling, and mocking, and sometimes public berating. I've actually experienced it, and I'm just asking questions to friends. I'd be happy to help if it is something you'd be interested in. I'd love to hear a before and then after interview on the moon experiment she is planning to do. Here's how the results planned out. Just an idea as a talk radio producer. I'd rather give you an idea and you say no than to never give you one. All the best. He says, I also plan to send a similar message to John Dirk, who is news director at KWGS Radio, the public radio station in Tulsa. And then he goes on to telling me that being in the media, he has to be careful. So I guess I shouldn't have probably said the radio station then, but anyway, so like I'm looking forward to that. I'm waiting for him to get back with me. They haven't said anything, but July 9th is when I plan to do that test. I'm pretty sure everybody else has seen it, and I expect no different results, but I want to have my own so that I can show my friends and family and people that I see like daily, because even with all of the information that I've sent to him or given them, they still don't believe me. What did you delete?
Oh yeah,
Hey, man,
Cooler Master. Did you see that, Dennis? I blocked him.
I showed them how to use their wrench, so guys,
Oh,
beware.
he's abusing his power. Is that what he's saying?
Oh, he was saying, "Shut this fucking bitch up."
He called me a bitch?
Yeah, that's why I blocked him.
I've been called worse.
We're blackjack.
Go ahead, call me a bitch. I come out honestly. I don't care.
You know, it's like perfect being a flat earther and a blackjack dealer, because
You get immune to what people say.
you know, as a blackjack dealer, you sit there and take $3,000 from someone in like 2 seconds, and they go, "You fucking asshole." You go, "All right, take more money." Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the best
Hey,
part.
you're numb to insults. I don't care.
I said outside.
You know, I don't know how many times I've taken someone's money and they said, "You asshole," and I just smile.
Wasn't that a pretty interesting letter that he sent?
Cigar face. Read the description. Read the name of the title of the video. Wasting people's time in the chat.
Yeah.
No, but just so everyone does know, if they're not reading the title of the video, that's rude, isn't it? This is Marisa and Chad. They're the ones behind the Tulsa billboard, and
Hello,
and they're
everyone.
flat Earth activists of the highest order.
Well, we're trying to be.
Well, we're not highest yet.
Yeah,
We're not highest yet.
we're not even trying to be. We just
Well,
want to get the word out. Like,
Yeah. We just
we don't wake people up just like everybody else.
Yeah, we just, you know, we just wanted to open people's eyes.
yeah, it was a pretty controversial topic. I was telling them, those guys, about watching Authentic Intent standing on the streets of Minneapolis. I love that. I've actually it actually choked me up a little bit the other day. But so everybody should watch Authentic Intent's live stream videos and the repeat of them, because I haven't hardly ever catch him live, but he keeps uploading some of those Facebook Live that he's done, and you definitely should check those out, because It's powerful. Authentic intent, Joshua. Well, I really kind of need a cigarette, man. I don't want everybody. I don't have the. I don't think I can. Maybe I can. Oh, I know what I can do. I'll play my video that I made.
We're gonna have a little interlude,
What?
or
Or if you guys want to just talk, I'll go smoke a cigarette. If you can think of something to talk about.
well,
I
shit.
don't care.
Well, shit. You mentioned cigarette. Now I want a cigarette too.
I know. So I'm going to play one of my videos that I made. It's called NASA's Big Balls.
Okay.
Apparently, NASA's got some big balls.
We're
with all
paying
this.
for them bitches.
Hey, did you guys notice that when Trump got elected, all of a sudden they found 7 new planets?
Yeah.
Did you realize that, Dennis?
Yeah, and you know, all those images that came out, they were just.
Yeah, and supposedly like one of them's like livable. Didn't they say?
They say that all the time. It's all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you they released after they released all the artificial images of it, they released the original photo, which was just like a couple of pixels on the screen. That they,
Here's a dot.
there was just a couple of pixels. I mean, there's just a habitable planet up here, and we promise, because we found, and what they take it with radiometric telescopes and analyze the data, and they come to assumptions based on that data, which I don't want to go down it. I don't know how to explain it as well as some people do, so I'm not going to do that. I'm convinced myself, so I'm not going to. I don't get technical about it because I just don't. There's no way. I don't think your radiometric telescope could detect something trillions of miles away. I think that's impossible.
What, the Hubble?
Any telescope trillions of miles
They're
away.
like the ones from Orion are programmed, because I actually had taken like I used to take pictures of deep space, which I thought I was taking pictures of deep space, but it turned out to be that the camera or the telescope where you like program it to set to Polaris, like you align with Polaris and then set your camera for the shutter for 15 minutes. It's programmed to show you a portion of what they say should be there.
Right.
Because like we programmed it to look at the Horsehead Nebulae. You know what I'm saying? Because then when I put it into Photoshop, I actually did this myself, which is what was one of my hang-ups. Being a flat earther. But like when I put it in Photoshop and like put all the pictures together, you could tell that it was actually pre-programmed in the computer of the telescope.
Really? Because I've heard of that,
Yeah.
but I never heard anybody prove it.
Yeah, like I did it back in college. And I thought I was actually taking a picture of this, but then like when I go back and look at the stuff, I can tell.
Wow.
It's pretty sad, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So be careful if you buy a telescope made by Orion or Celestron.
But if you have something to say, go ahead. Because I was gonna say I'm still trying to pull up my video. But if we all need to take a break, or if I can just take a few minutes.
I've just been looking at the chats.
Yeah, you can talk to them.
Let's take
Hopefully
a break.
they're
Play a
asking
video
questions.
or something. Let's take a break.
All right, let's take a break. We'll go out here and try to maybe I don't know how many people are still watching. 16. Let's stay in between 16 and 20. You guys share this if you can. Get some more people in here. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play NASA's Big Balls, the video that I made. It's not anything fancy, but it's funny. Let me screen share here. I haven't done this in a while. I haven't actually and a hangout like this.
I know. Spec can leave if he wants. Never.
Why
found
are
this
people
place.
horrible?
What are you doing, Spec? I know Spec.
Yeah, Spec's talking shit.
Spec, quit talking shit.
Like I said, Spec, I'm a blackjack dealer. You can't offend me. I don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, he may not be talking to you. He's probably fighting with somebody in the chat.
Oh,
Spec, calm down, man.
All right. I don't know. I'm gonna turn this.
We're about to
thing
go
off.
take a break.
I'm just messing, Spec.
Let's see. Oh, I know what I need to do. Where's that?
Okay.
Spec, my bad, man. I thought I was just looking.
It wasn't even about you.
We're gonna take.
I can see your screen on the watch page.
The sound's working. Is it? No, the video. Oh, it's muted. Shit.
Okay, I got it. I'll figure it out. Sorry it took me so long, guys. I'm really new to this YouTube thing. I thought I'd share some of the stuff that I've been working on. Basically, like I said, I was doing a test. I do a lot of like zoom ins and stuff with my camera. So I want to show you a really special one that I found. And I'd like to get some feedback if you guys want to like contact me directly about what this could be actually.
Yeah, you guys, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and join Flat Earth Club so that you can see what she's been working on, and you can message her there and talk to her about it. She's got a P900, and she's going to show you some footage from it and explain, the experiment or the observation that she made with the.
Is it sharing it? Can y'all see it?
Oh, let me see. I may not have presented you. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Present to everyone. Yeah, there we go. You should be seeing it now. Yep. I think.
Hi, Paul on the plane. Thank you. Well, it's really all of you guys, because if you guys hadn't worked so hard putting all these memes together and all of the research that you put together, like I wouldn't have been able to even get enough stuff gathered to wake people up, and really you guys woke me up. So like this is for all of us. It's not just me, it's because of everybody else. So can you see that? Can you see? Is it on there now? Okay, let me go back then.
Yeah, I'm seeing the watch page. Oh, there we go.
Do you see the?
Yeah, we can see your video now. So go ahead and back it up and.
Oh, can I move this? Oh, okay, here we go.
Hide button next to the stop sharing button. Hit the hide button. It'll hide that bar right there telling you to stop sharing.
You see that?
That's a star.
Like, what the hell is that? That's what I want to know. I mean, is there really water up there? And if so, another question I've been having is, what is the moon? I mean, if there is really water up there, then what caused the craters on the moon that we see? Now, there's a theory that it could be electromagnetic scarring, which is quite interesting, I should say. And I'd like to look more into that. But another question I have is, could it be a coral reef? Like, as above, so below? These are just things that I think of.
Well, I just had a thought too. Like, what if, and just being hypothetical, it's just an idea, okay, guys? Like, okay, you got water. Like, if you look at the sand, there'd be like craters. Won't there be like craters?
What
If it's like what there's on the firmament?
My question is really, does anybody have a good explanation as to why I see these? Because that's not the only one. If I can stop sharing this page, I'll find. I was not prepared. It's one of the last ones that it was like, it even took me back. I was like, whoa. If you'll tell me how to unshare this so I can search for it real quick without showing them all these. Oh no.
all those, or unless for privacy reasons you don't want them to see it.
Oh, it's just because it takes me so long for it to zoom in.
That's fine. You can just keep talking about maybe some of the other stuff, or while you're trying to find a video, or because that's some pretty good stuff. You know, I like that. That it looked like there was some type of thing moving, you know, around the center of it or towards the center. Or some.
Yeah, it was like a bubble.
It looked like a bubble. It almost looked like there was.
Okay, it was relatively close to this time. Like, this is my personal stuff. Like, I have not edited anything, and I just know like where it was, kind of just by like what day it was. So this was just. I think it might have been around this time anyway. Hold on. I'm just looking through my personal stuff, and I apologize if y'all don't want to do that. Oh, that was the strawberry moon the other night. That was really fun. I got that one. So it would have been. Let's try this last one then. Because I was like, Jupiter is real close. Yeah, this might be it, actually. This might be it, actually. Because it was like real early in the morning. I went out on my patio. Like, I'm trying to catch these bubbles so I can find out what it is. And there's another one right there. Can you see it? Let's go forward a little bit on the video.
Even that pattern alone.
I'm trying to investigate, like, really what's up there. Because if it's not space, then... let me go forward a little bit so I can see. Yeah, there's... See that? What is that?
It's a light in the sky.
No, like, that's this... the morning star that's really bright. That comes up right before the sun.
Huh. Oh, and there was something moving there. Yeah, I saw that. A little. That's interesting.
I think that's sonoluminescence, really. Do you remember a few years ago, they started talking about like a star in a jar where you could like put sound waves through a plasma and create a star? Look.
What's that thing moving right around there?
Is there a lag? What are they seeing?
That's very interesting.
Is that clear to y'all?
Can you talk about what we were talking about a minute ago about how
Do what?
Talk about how how you have heard people saying, you're just not in focus, and
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah, some people are trying to tell me that my stuff is not in focus and that's why it looks like
No,
that.
that's focused.
But like it's set on autofocus and it is almost impossible to get this camera into manual focus to even try to focus it. So, I mean, you have to go through a couple steps, and on that one like video that debunks it, and I put debunked in quotes, but like you have to lower the focus area of the camera itself, of the lens itself, down to infinity for it to even focus when you do that. That's why he like makes you go move it infinity, because you're shutting the camera, you're shutting the lens. It's my understanding of it. Now I could be wrong, but I'm gonna try to hide all of this stuff and just go back to like my regular page, because I don't know how to get rid of that, but that thing to stop sharing is behind that. See? Can you unshare my page?
again, I don't fucking remember how.
I'd really like some help if people have ideas of what it is, because I'm kind of stuck.
Well, there's several different YouTube videos about it that are on both sides of the subject. So that's.
I really think it's important for us to get together.
You can click that little green thing again, the screen share button, and it'll stop showing your screen.
My what?
To the top left on our Hangout screen. The button that you push to.
Okay, I got it.
Share the screen.
Okay, right on. Thank you. Because that looked weird.
Yeah, it's your screen going back and forth.
So that's a little bit of my research. Like mainly, I'm using my camera. I want to do the moon test. There's like I'm waiting on. I don't know if you guys have heard that Rob Skiva is doing a high altitude balloon test, and the first attempt wasn't very successful. So I'm hoping that they get together and. I've told them that if they need my help, I would gladly do that. So if you guys can give anything to them, we'd like to get some amateur footage for like the real flat earthers.
Any detailed things that you and I know that there's a lot of Bible talk or whatever. You can share your point of view on some of that and how it relates to proof that it can flat. What's your opinion on it?
Oh, you want me to go there? Well, I'm not sure how everybody's opinion is, and like for me, I raised my kids in a private Christian school, a Seventh-day Adventist school actually, because they like were the first ones to accept us. I was a single parent raising 2 kids by myself, working 2 jobs and going to college full time. So my son gets kicked out of public school for taking a broken BB gun that he found in the neighbor's like back 40 in an old car. He found a broken BB gun and he put it in his backpack and he took it to school. So they expelled him from school. When they expelled him, he was going to miss all of 2nd grade and all of 3rd grade because he got expelled for a year. So he would have been like almost 11 years old going back into the 2nd grade. So I kind of took advantage of the Constitution, that separation of church and state thing. and I put him in private Christian school. They were the first ones to accept us, and like I didn't have the money to pay for private Christian school, so like we worked as like we cleaned the school daily so that they could have half the tuition. So I mean, I did this to set a good example for my kids, really. Like, and then when I found flat earth, I had always doubted before. I really didn't know if it was true or not. These were just some old stories and bedtime stories for people, like nobody paid attention to it. And I mean, I didn't really pay attention to it either. But then once I found flat earth, then it all started to kind of make sense, because now the front of the book is like Genesis 1. And God created the sun, the moon, and the earth, and how it all revolves. And now flat earth has brought me back to the front of the book. And so I started reading the front of the book. And from reading the front of the book, I realized that it mirrors a Jewish wedding, like a Hebrew wedding. So like in a traditional Hebrew wedding, when a man wanted to marry a woman, he had to go to her father and make a contract with him. And like if she accepted, then he would go back to his father's house and start building a room where they call it the wedding chamber. Okay, now he would take up to 2 years building this room, and nobody knew when his father was going to say, okay, you're ready, your room is done, you can go and get your bride. Like, he didn't know. So it could take up to 2 years. So the bride was supposed to be ready at all times. Like, if his father said he was ready to go, he would gather up his wedding party. He would send somebody ahead just to give her just like 10, 15-minute warning that he was coming, and he would take her, and they would go back to that room that he spent 2 years building, and they would stay in there for a week, for 7 days, with somebody standing outside of that door, making sure nobody bothered them until the wedding was consummated. Okay, so once the wedding was consummated, they would come out and have their wedding and the reception and all of that, and then like they would go on to their father's, like their own house. You know what I'm saying? So the Bible mirrors a Hebrew wedding. Like, he came and made a contract, and if we accepted, he had to go back to his father's house. I will prepare a place for you, and I'll return for you. Like, even in the days of Noah, he was given 7 years notice before the floods came. In the parable of the virgins, they're given a little bit of notice, and the wise ones had enough knowledge. The not so wise one didn't listen. So like, the whole thing mirrors a Hebrew wedding. And I'm telling you, like, if we believe the Bible, then he is only coming back for his bride to take into the wedding chamber for 7 days, which is 7 years tribulation. And a lot of people are saying that that's going to happen, like, probably this year.
Well, if it is going to happen, if this kind of truth, I mean, the reason that she was talking about this, I wasn't on this microphone, but I'd asked her to talk about some of what we talked about the other night. And I was a worship leader at an Assembly of God church for almost 10 years. And I understand what you're saying, and I'm not trying to detract from it. I definitely could be wrong about a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to even talk about that. I wanted you to share your part of it, because I don't even know why I'm saying that, but I was just saying that I asked you that question. I don't think they heard me ask you that question. And
Well, I try not to bring the Bible into flat Earth right away. And I mean, I was just telling you how I came to
yeah,
the
well, yeah, and
Bible
then
and my understanding of
that
that
reminds me,
being
because I was going
flat
to
Earth.
ask you, that question, because I mean, there's a lot of people in here that know the Bible, and that's good. I mean, I'm glad you explained it that way, because it's, I don't think there's enough that understand that point of view and seeing it, because I think it's important to the relate because there's a division, honestly, in the flat Earth community between people that are
Yeah,
ignorant
some
of the
people
Bible. I mean, if you're an atheist and you come across flat Earth, well, then now evolution is not true. But you haven't. Then some atheists have studied different religions extensively, and especially Christianity. But some of them know all the different religions, quite a bit. So I have general knowledge of a lot of the other religions, the Muslims and
well, that one's very interesting.
yeah,
That one took you down quite a nice little rabbit trail. That religion is based off of the Black Stone of Diana in the Bible. And the Quran, I know I'm saying that wrong. The reason that they believe that, hold on, what am I trying to say? The reason that they believe that they deserve the blessing, because it was between Ishmael and Isaac, Abraham's sons, is the Muslim culture and how the Black Stone of Diana came down into Mecca. But Abraham took Isaac in the Bible up to the temple to be sacrificed, which is the line where the Messiah came from, where Jesus came from. So it's basically over there right now, it's still a fight over the birthright and the blessed land. That's it. And when in December 23rd, coincidentally, when Obama did that peace agreement thing, the Paris Agreement, splitting the land, giving Jerusalem to the Vatican, which is now international Holy Land, splitting up Israel and the Palestinians, splitting the country into three. Bible prophecy coming alive right in front of our eyes, and like not a whole lot of people understand it.
yeah, there's not, and so and I will say, yeah, it's. I will say, if you're a Christian, it's just really it's hard to
Like,
some of because I'll say this about the Christian church: every other idea, you should not be afraid as a Christian, if you believe with your whole heart that Christianity is true and the Bible is 100% correct, like they teach in the fundamental Christian churches, then they shouldn't teach you that everything else is evil and you shouldn't know anything about it. It shouldn't encourage you from even looking into those topics, because I don't I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. We should have a well-rounded understanding, and if you're going to actually believe something and think it's true, then you should have. I can relate that to the flat Earth thing. Don't just
absolutely.
take somebody's word for it, and I could, and especially it's like the preachers of the
Well,
world have certain doctrines and all that kind of thing.
that gets me stepping on some rapture toes now, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
you
was stepping
can't
on. I
tell
was stepping on
people
rapture toes. I was stepping
that.
on rapture toes a long time ago. Before when I was inside the Assembly of God, they're part of their doctrine was the pre-tribulation rapture. I thought it was just, I found when I did my studies on it, that's not what the Bible says. So
No, it is not. And like, I can prove it to people, I can tell it to people, but yet they still believe it. Now, we will eventually be caught up to God, but that is at the end, after the 1,000-year millennial reign, when he hands after Satan's loose, the judgment day happens, and he hands the keys back to Yeshua, and we become the one new man, because that's the ultimate goal. where we're all united, we're all together as a one new man. The two sticks coming together with Israel, the two trees becoming one. Like that's the ultimate goal for all of us to be one. We are supposed to unite together as brothers and sisters in Christ and become one. That's his ultimate goal, and that's what the millennial reign is going to look like. So like we need to start doing that.
Yeah, we need to do that now. Unite as one people, and like I said, beliefs in religion based on whatever you base it on, and I tell you, I mean, Christianity changed my life at the time that when I first came, which I was raised Catholic, so I always had the I was
Well, I
raised
didn't.
to believe in God, so what I mean. So, and I'll tell you this: I never ever thought the evolution theory was true. I thought everybody knows this about. I thought it was. I fought that ever since I first found out about it in school and everything. I always argue with people about that. So
I just couldn't see it happening. I mean, I don't know. I was like waiting for them to discover something else, I mean, I really honestly had doubts even of a creator. Like I did maybe think evolution for a minute, you know what I mean? Like throughout growing up, but
yeah, I mean, I was being taught it in school, so but I just was like, why would they really say that? Because it just never really made. I mean, not, and I can say that, and people say, "Well, you just never really looked into it." Oh, yes, I have. I've been looking into it ever since I found out about it, which was when I was a child when I found out.
so you know about the DNA then. You know about the DNA then, right?
I was infatuated with this topic pretty much my whole life. I don't necessarily. I haven't debated on it or I kind of I've kind of dismissed it because I was into the debate for a while and stuff. So I mean, I've kind of dismissed even trying to prove it to anybody because but I do know a lot of information about it, but I don't know what particularly DNA you're talking about because I've heard
Well, my question is like my question is for the DNA research that they've done, where like we have like 98% DNA with them or what. But they're only looking at the fundamental DNA, but not the DNA that they call junk DNA, which every form of life has, that has the ability to see, breathe, you know what I'm saying, have the same 98% DNA.
Yeah.
So like that was,
That's
they
evidence.
have to throw out 120% of their DNA, or like, what was it? 120 different species, something like that. You have to throw out almost over half of each part of the DNA, the junk DNA.
Yeah, it's quite well. I mean, and then they have what they call the vestigial organs and all that stuff. It's just, and then when you really look into it, there are no vestigial parts of any creature's body. They're just evidence of a common designer, and it's quite ridiculous to think otherwise, in my opinion, and it always has been my opinion ever since I was a child.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just like, man, why are they telling me this? I know that shit ain't true. But I mean, of course I believed in God, but at the same time, I just thought it was a ridiculous theory.
Well, I doubted. Like I didn't believe it really. Like I always had my doubts. Like I always prayed, for him to show himself to me. Like I guess so. I kind of believed, but I always had doubts in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of stuff that tell us in schools that we're supposed to believe and have faith because parents say, don't be good in school and listen to your teacher. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, what are they teaching you? And trust this person. And I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm just saying that it was already set up, and there's plenty of that evidence of.
And it's really like someone had to lie eventually. Like the farther history goes, someone had to lie eventually and convince someone else.
It was the Vatican.
And then it just, I know, but I'm saying, you give it so much time, someone had to lie eventually. Be like, hey, let's try this out or something like that.
Well, and then when they found out we can't leave before the space race.
You go 500 years, and it's just someone really said, no, it's a globe because that thing vanishes or something.
What if there was competing scientists that had a different theory? It depends on who your connections are and what university you were connected to, who you know. Your idea can be if you have a good idea that is a great alternate theory, that's not necessarily the one supported all the time. It depends on your connections to power, and that's because that's where the education comes from.
Speaking of power, I mean, okay, really, when Copernicus put this out, he didn't. I mean, this is a cosmological view that's going to change the rest of the world forever, right? So why didn't he want to release it until his deathbed? Like he wrote it over 10 years before it was released, at a time where like the Christian church was persecuting and strapping Bibles to people's chests and burning them alive if they had any sort of like different view than the Catholic Church. So like then Galileo comes along and he just gets house arrest when they were supposed to kill him. Whatever. Come on, it's the same shit we're seeing in Washington right now. We can't get no pedophiles behind the bars. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, and the stories are created by the media and promulgated to the public, and we have to believe whatever they say about it. I know that there are different. If you went to study Copernicus, there'd probably be 50 different points of view of what really happened with Copernicus, but we have one generally understood view. And actually, if you said Copernicus to somebody standing on the street, they wouldn't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, they didn't go over him in science class.
So
they'd be like,
it goes even further back than that, though.
It definitely does.
You would say, "Oh yeah, have you heard about the Copernicus theory?" And then
like this whole.
And then you're like,
"What's that? A new car?"
How funny would that be, though? If they were like, "What, the crap on us theory?"
What? Not making any sense, babe. You are
Copernicus.
No, you're not making any sense whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
That was a random thought.
Yeah, they happen occasionally. That's how we got Is Stars Flat on the billboard, though. So, there's a blessing in some of them. Not this one. I'm just playing. I don't know. Like, it goes back even further than that. Like, I try to tell people that this whole heliocentric model that we live under it can be traced back to Ishtar and the worship of sun gods, and really that's what it boils down to. I mean, I know a lot of people don't believe in God, or some of the people have gone on to this spiritual awakening thing. I'm not real sure what that is, but like I had an encounter at the Passover in March. Was it March? Yeah, March 14th or April 14th. I went for Passover and I had an encounter there, which made me really scared to look into this New Age movement, because it's like, from my understanding, it's a like meditation and yoga type thing to take you to a higher power, to where you are the God and you understand what's like outside of time, I guess you could say. I think it has something to do with the pineal gland. So I don't really want to do that, because at this Passover conference, I actually have a video of it. I mean, I could share it. This guy jumped up on stage and like just started spitting out, like it was kind of demonic actually, but after his spiel, I walked outside to smoke a cigarette and he was standing out there and he was telling me all about how he had done these frequency things, like he had been looking into frequencies and going to higher powers, and how like all of these demons and stuff were in his house and like stuff like that. And they literally, finding Jesus literally saved him, was his message. And if I had not gone to that Passover thing, I would have done that too. I would have gone on to the spiritual side of it too, because that's where I was leaning. but then I went to Passover, and he scared me enough. Like, he was talking about how he grew up with people killing each other right beside him, like all of these things. And I actually have video if you want to see it. Like, I was recording when he jumped up on stage from the Passover conference. I found it the other day.
She didn't even know she had it.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had it.
I said, oh shit.
Because when I got back from the Passover convention, I told him what happened. I was like, wow, because I was about to start doing that. Like, when I got back, I was gonna start listening to frequencies and stuff while I slept, and trying to I've been staying off fluoride and stuff like that. My pineal gland, you know, I was fixing to go down that road. I was fixing to go down that rabbit hole, and the Passover, that event scared me enough to where instead of that road, I started going down the study the Bible road. And then I came up with In Mirrors, a Hebrew Wedding, and like all of the things that I just told y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some
Do what?
there's going to be some opposition to some of the things you're saying, you know, in the chat if you read them. But or I don't.
Oh, that's okay. I like knowledge. Like, knowledge comes from everywhere. It doesn't matter where.
Haven't heard of the Ask Project.
What is it about? Can you pull her in here so she can tell us what it's about?
Who was it?
It's Ray.
Ray. Oh, well,
can she do that?
Right. Yeah, Ray can come in if she wants to talk about it. She's from another channel that I've been talking on.
Can I run to the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, I kind of want to smoke another cigarette, man. I hate that I can't smoke in here.
Well, Ray, I'll tell her about her. I'll have her. I'm sure she'll look that up on YouTube. I'll text that to her right now.
Spec, I guess I'm gonna send you the link, Spec. Then I'll send it to Ray. I'll add you guys. Spec's a really cool dude. He can talk way more than I can.
Right on. If you guys haven't noticed, Marissa's the talker. I'm not.
I like to get on and add people to the call that have something to offer, and I'm not a fan of debating, so
yeah, I'm the same way.
Spec's a good debater, but he might talk about some of the things that we've been talking about, but he's not gonna try to prove a ball or anything. I know that. Otherwise, he ain't coming in.
I'm sure she'd love it either way.
Well, I don't. I'd probably get pissed off. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not very good at it.
He likes debating.
What?
I was just saying. He was like, Spec's gonna join.
All right.
And he was like, he's not gonna like try to prove the ball.
That's okay.
I go, she would love it either way.
Yeah. You never know where knowledge is going to come from. Like, you can see something just in a TV show and it click, linking a couple things together. You know what I'm saying? I went to that Passover conference, but what is that? I drove 9 hours to try to do it right. I hope I did. And when I was there, I got baptized. I don't know what you're looking at. Get up. I'm going to step outside for a second.
If Chris Rock wants to come in, he can talk to you about the Bible. He likes to talk about the Bible. He does YouTube shows on the Bible all the time. I'm trying to get Back the link, read the link. It's just so sometimes you guys don't pop up when I try to type stuff in chat. I'm gonna send it to your about. I'm gonna go on your about page spec and send a message. Mm, what's that? Huh? What?
What you were just saying.
No, I'm talking to the chat. I'm talking to the chat. Sorry, but
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna take a smoke break. I'm gonna send out some links and I'll be back in a minute. I don't know if, already. If I was at home, I'd be using OBS and I'd be able to play music during the interludes. But I tried screen sharing one of my videos earlier, but I couldn't get any audio. I don't know how to do that. So for the Hangouts app. So, but I'm gonna take a break, go smoke a cigarette, and talk to these guys, and we'll be back in a few minutes. For the new people, I mean, they came to see me here in Arkansas, and we're doing it at my house. They're in the kitchen, and I'm in the living room. So that's what's going on. I'll be back.
Did all of the all of they read all of
Back then, as I listen to letter stuff now, I was listening to thought teachers from all branches.
Yeah.
You ever text my
No, I've pretty much been watching Jim Staley. Like his identity crisis changed my whole perception. Then I started. I don't know. Is it me too? Nope, not muted. Hi, Spec.
What's up, Spec?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
How are you doing?
So what was that shit earlier?
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It seems like every time I initially connect, I have to like restart the browser. It's fucking stupid.
Just one more way Google's trying to change direction.
Yeah. But I heard you guys mention the Passover and that you had like a weird situation go on during that time. Was that 2 years ago?
No, this was just like this April.
Really?
Like this just like yeah, I'm new to well, I don't really want to call it Hebrew roots because it's not even really Hebrew roots, but I'm new to following Torah. So
Okay.
this was my first Passover and I wanted to do it right, so I drove almost 9 hours to do that.
That's
Oh, bug.
There's a bug on me.
No, it flew away.
Can you shut the door? Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. There was a bug.
hey, that's a reason. That's a good excuse for whatever.
Feed the dog, Spec. I'll be back on in a sec.
Okay. I'm trying to find this article that tripped me out. And I think these two would enjoy it. I'm also,
So where are you from, Spec?
where am I from or where do I live?
Where are you at? Yeah, where you live.
I'm in Arizona.
Oh, right on.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's hot there. I'm sorry for you.
It was like 120, like
Holy crap.
4 days ago. Yeah.
It gets like that every once in a while in Oklahoma.
Really?
Not like that. No, it don't. Like maybe 105.
No, the first year that I was here, it was like 115, 118 and shit.
That's crazy.
Is it
I haven't
one of
seen it
those
that.
feels likes or is it the actual temperature?
That's the actual temperature.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then and then it was like with the humidity.
I don't know.
That sucks. That's gotta be miserable.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't feel it because I was like, I'm gonna stay inside with air conditioning.
Right? Not a lot of people can.
And so, do you guys follow any prophecy at all?
Like I've been trying to, like especially the abomination of desolation.
Okay.
Because I believe that it started December 23rd, 9 months prior to the sign in Revelation 12.
September 23rd?
Yeah, September 23rd, the sign in Revelation 12 happens
This year.
physically.
Have you heard
And
about September 23rd of this year? About the stars aligning and all that?
yeah, that's what I'm
Oh.
talking about.
Okay. All right, we're on the same
Yeah.
page here.
Yeah, if you want to share what that is, that might interest people in here. But
I haven't done enough to do it justice or give it any kind of relevancy.
well, see, I have, and
She does a lot of research.
so this sign happens September 23rd, right? Which is prophesying the birth of the Messiah. So December 23rd, Obama signed the paper in the UN to split the land in Israel, and it's now two-state solution with the Jerusalem and the West Wall being under Vatican control, and is known as the International Holy Land. Now, I watch a guy, his name is Stephen Banoon on Israeli News Live, and he has done quite extensive research on this, that it's actually been done for a couple of years already. That the last time that Benjamin Netanyahu, they got him back into power so that he could sign this agreement back then. So it's actually been going on for a couple of years. But from my perception, the December 23rd thing was consummation for the sign that happens in Revelation 12, which was exactly 9 months to the day. Now, if we look at the day itself, we know that when Jesus came the first time, or the Messiah came this first time, I like to use his name, Yeshua, so I'm gonna use that. So when Yeshua came the first time, he fulfilled Passover. He died on Passover. It was put in the ground on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. He rose for the first fruits. And then 50 days to the day later, he was seen by his disciples at Shavuot. Well, the next feast day or appointed time to be fulfilled is the Feast of Trumpets. Now, the Feast of Trumpets is a 2-day event that it starts with the sliver of the moon being seen and the blowing of the trumpets to let the other tribes in the area know that the new year, Rosh Hashanah, had begun.
Yeah, and that feast is also known as what?
It's Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, isn't that the harvest feast though? It's like like first fruits.
Well, that one, there's several of them, but Rosh Hashanah is the new year. It's the beginning of the new year. It's actually the new civil year, not the new year. It's the new year for Tesseri, not the Nissan new year. Like we have January 1st is our new year, but October is our fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. So they have two different new years. Well, Rosh Hashanah is in September. It's in the latter part of the year. I believe for the harvest. And I believe it actually does have something to do with the harvest, but I'm not quite there yet. If you could shed any light on that, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm not too up to speed with it, but I believe there's 10 fests or feasts, and
there's smaller ones, but there's 7 total. The first four that I told you before, the one that comes up is September 21st and 22nd of this year, September 21st and 22nd, and then the sign of Revelation 12 on September 23rd, which happens to be a high Sabbath this year by the name of Shabbat Shavah, which means day of return. Now, I'm not sure how often this Sabbath Shabbat Shavah happens, but clearly if we look throughout history, then like all of the older prophets have said that the Messiah would return on the Feast of Trumpets, because at the last trump, it was the day that all the kings were crowned. King David was crowned, King Solomon even if they came into their kingdom in like January, they had to wait till September to be crowned. So like it's clear throughout history that most of the prophets think he's going to come back on the Feast of Trumpets.
Yeah, and I did a study a long time ago, and like I do things and then I forget about them. But the deal was that each feast meant something, both with the seasons, but also the times. You know how there's times, time, and times.
Yeah. Those are called jubilees. Each okay, so God does everything in sevens. Okay, so the old, like the land was supposed to rest every 7th year, and he would give more in abundance, like he did in Exodus. On the 6th day they gathered twice as much, but on the 7th day they didn't gather anything. It's the same thing. On the 6th year, the crop would be like over and abundant, so that it would last through the 7th year, right? So, I mean, in essence, this is the reason why he divorced the house of Israel anyway, because they didn't keep his feast days.
Yeah, they mixed them with the pagans.
Right. So that's that reason anyway. So one of these 7 years is a week. So one is a jubilee, and then 7 times 7 is 49, and then the 5th year, so it would rest on the 7th year of the 49 years, and then when it would rest again, the land would rest again that next year.
Yeah, that's called man, I forget what it's called.
But they sum it up as a 50th jubilee, right?
Yeah.
So this year also in September is the 50th jubilee. So that's another reason why I say that it might, if it doesn't happen in September, I don't know another time in history that would be any more perfect.
Yeah, especially with that weird constellations and signs in the
Well,
heavens.
not to mention the one that happens in Revelation 12, but if we look on Stellarium, the constellation Pleiades, in 7 years later in 2024 looks like a cup being poured out. Like the way that the 7 sister stars are all set up, it looks like a cup being poured out. Now I don't know specific date. I just ran across this one. I haven't researched it a whole lot myself, but I'd really love if somebody has done any research on this. I'd like to see it on the second one, the one that's in Revelation 15 in the star cluster Pleiades. Anyway, so this one is supposed to happen then as well, marking the end. And if we look in Revelations, when he talks about the wine press and the cup pouring out, and that's the wrath of God in the end. And then the millennial reign, which, if you were listening earlier when I said the Bible mirrors a Hebrew wedding,
Yeah.
which would make perfect sense, that they stayed in the wedding chamber, those that believe stayed and were protected here on this earth, and then they came out to rule and reign and have the marriage supper of the Lamb.
Yep. Yeah. I've done basic studies in some of that stuff, just happenstance, but I never like dug in deep. And I can't remember what that one guy's name was, but he did a whole thing on the 50th year.
Well, not to mention that, I think it's in Ezekiel or something like that. It says that the life of man is 120 years. Well, this is the 120th Jubilee. If we trace back through Genesis, like throughout history, there's a debate like when time actually started, but the closest the one that I followed down came to the year 3983 BCE. Well, if you add 3983 BCE and 2017, you come up with 6,000 years, which, since Yeshua was promised a 1,000-year reign, it also makes a lot of sense in that regard as well.
Yeah. I just know that a lot of people are tripping out about September 23rd. So I was going to start looking at it, but
They have a lot of reason to be tripping out about it.
well, I mean,
But a
think
lot
of
of people are looking before then. I mean, with all of these things that we know about God, he's very precise. Like, he died at the 9th hour while he was on the cross, you know, for like the thieves beside him, they had to break their legs for them to die. You know what I mean? So he's very, very precise, and he's not coming back before he said. So these people that are looking like they got like a rapture look going on or something,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, it's not going to happen before the feast day. That's his appointed time. And if everything else in the Bible and history that we can dig up is true, that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's what I talk to, like, a lot of these Christians who are like, oh well, they call them pan. Um, uh, I can't remember the term now. Instead of, I always say harpazo instead of what they're calling it now, but the gathering up of the saints and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The rapture.
Oh, yeah. Well, they take that out of context.
Yeah, well, the
It
pan.
does speak of a rapture. Like, I'm not just disputing that. It does speak of a rapture, and it will happen, but not until the end of the 1,000-year reign. After Satan's loose, Judgment Day happens. Yeshua hands the keys back over to Yahweh at the white throne of judgment, and we all become one new man, caught up together with him in heaven to become the one new man, which is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always tripped on prophecy and stuff. Have you ever heard of Perry Stone?
No, I'm interested though.
Yeah, check him out. He's a Southern Baptist, so he's kind of a little wiry.
Mm-hmm.
But
is he the one that comes live from like Jerusalem and the West Wall?
yeah. He's tall, nerdy.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his stuff. What about him?
He's really good. I've learned a lot of interesting stuff. But interesting side note, I actually went on one of those tours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he baptized me in the Jordan. That's
really.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
That was my first public baptism, but I was saved before, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a trippy side note. But when we were there, he would do his shows, and then we would go to the locations where he would be talking about these prophetic stories, and then how he thinks they're playing out now. So it was really cool, and you'd probably dig his stuff. Like I said, he's a little spry at times, and I take everything with a grain of salt and ounce of speculatism. But
yeah,
he's worth watching if you like prophecy.
Yeah, I do like prophecy, and I can't believe it's all coming true. Like when you really step back and think about it.
That's why they want us so distracted, though, right? They want us all in our Facebook and selfies and iPhones and MySpace and me. It's a distraction, because if you realize that, no, it may not be this September 23rd, but it's going to happen at some time, and you need to do some inventory to see whether it's real or not. You know what I mean? But if you're distracted, you're not going to take time to venture to guess. I mean, I could be wrong. You could be wrong. But at least take the time to do it.
Like, people say, well, we're they want to bet me and stuff, like it's not gonna happen, all this. I mean, I'll take the bet because deep in my heart I kind of feel it. But like, even if it's true, there's not gonna be a need for any of that anyway. Well, but I mean, at least I show people that, like, I'm honest and true about it. That they need to repent. They need to search it for themselves, because there's no other way. There's no other way until you do and exactly what you just said, until you do an inventory of your life. There's no other way. Yeah,
that's for sure. And the other thing too that is, like, I'm a logic guy. That's what I do. I really hold my beliefs to myself. Right. But logically, it doesn't have to be fire and brimstone at 12:01 September 23rd. It could be
Right.
all happening in the background, and you wouldn't know.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And I'll show you something that tripped me out. It's not semi-related, but you know about the prophecies on the temple, right?
No, not really. I mean, I could shine some light there.
Yeah, so
I know they're trying to build one. I know that they have all the stuff to do it. I know they have the guy that has the lineage to be in the temple. I know they have the Ark of Covenants that has to be in it. I mean, I know they have all the stuff. I know they were trying to get Donald Trump to like help them, Donald Trump and Russia, to help them fund it. But with Jerusalem now being the international Holy Land, do you think it's really going to happen? Do you think the Pope is really going to let that happen?
yeah, is Helio back? I want to share my screen.
Am I looking at the wrong one?
Oh, he gave you controls?
No, he didn't give me control. I wouldn't want him to. Like, this is my first time ever on a live feed
Oh, okay.
on YouTube.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to show you is going to trip you out, because you realize that, I mean, everything has to be exactly right. There's no stimping whatsoever.
Right. That's
Like,
another thing I'd like to talk about, the tabernacle itself. Like, there was an engineer that did it to Bible specifics. I can't say that word very well. But it turns out that if you do it in like a dome type over a flat surface, it comes out perfect.
yeah.
With nothing added, nothing taken away.
Yeah,
Standing 6 stories high.
Yep. I knew that before I walked into this place.
I didn't know that. That blew my mind.
Yeah, it was like when I found out about flat Earth, and then I gave it some time, and I'm still on the fence, and I don't have a problem with that. But it reinforced a lot of the discrepancies that I personally had that were of discord. And then when I looked at flat Earth, it made more sense.
Yeah, that's what I said. It like brought the front of the book back to life. Flat Earth brings the front of the book, because what happens in church today when you go to get saved? They tell you to start like halfway through the book. Some tell you to start with the Gospels. Some tell you to start in John. You know what I'm saying? That's what usually happens. I looked for a long time, but
yeah, they want to make it more of a works-based system, and then they want to tell you that it's not a works-based system. It's I don't go to church for that very purpose.
Well, it kind of is. It kind of is a works-based system. You don't do the thing. You don't follow his commandments and do his word for salvation. Like, he gives that freely.
Right.
But if you are true and you want to please him, you want to follow him, then you do them because of. And that's what I do anyway. I follow the commandments the best that I can. Not because I'm afraid of judgment or anything like that. It's because I want to please them. Like,
yes,
I walk outside every day and I'm in awe with what I see now. My whole cosmological view changed.
Yeah.
And I wear tits and
that's
go
where
ahead.
it's at. Is that for example, and this is unpopular, my opinion, and among Christians and other people alike. But I believe that if you translate and look at the Ten Commandments correctly, it's not a list of things that will please him. It's the things that you'll do once you know him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also like many people think that Torah means it's like the law, right? Like, it's been given a bad name because that's the law, when actually Torah in Hebrew means instruction. So it's basically your instruction manual for life. Like it's telling you to clean yourself after this and like to separate yourself so that the germs don't get in with the rest of the people. You don't get plagues and things. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then the rest of it is like to and how to do that in a spiritual way as well. And if we look at some of those things like the bird that's on the reed and you like kill its brother and you dip it in the blood and then you like let it go as it comes up, you know, that parable.
Yeah.
If we look closely enough at it, that's really the life of Jesus. Like he came to, like we were already dead in sin, he died so that we could, and he was drenched in our sins, and then he was caught up to God being clean. You know what I mean? I guess maybe that was a weird one to kind of discuss.
Well, I think that, you know, if some of those laws, like dietary laws especially, if they were written today, it would be, you know, thou shalt not have McDonald's. You know, it would have been, it's good for you. You know, hey, I'm trying to help you out here. You're doing something stupid, you know?
Right. And when he tells us not to eat unclean foods, now that's a big one with Christians today.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't give up the pork. But like if we actually look at what pork is made of, pigs don't sweat and all of their toxins are like stored in their fat. The actual medium that like they grow bacteria in is made up of pig intestine. So like basically when you're eating pork, you're putting inside of your body the perfect ingredients for that cancer cell to grow.
Yep.
So like people don't look at it like that. They look at it like, oh, it tastes so good.
Yep. Yeah.
But like they don't look at it. But like then they'll bitch about the vaccinations and they'll
Yeah.
they'll bitch about the chemtrails and what's put in my body and the GMO foods, but yet they don't look at eating pork like that. Oh, God said we could have whatever we want.
Yeah. He said that it wouldn't, you know, mess up your salvation.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, that's between you and God. Like I haven't personally came to a conclusion on that point.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not hard to give up because it's too salty and I don't like it anyway. So it's not really hard for me to give up. Now, what's hard for me to give up is the shrimp because I really, really, really like sushi.
Yeah, me too.
And shrimp tempura is the bomb. And so I'm having a hard time with that one.
Yeah.
She still eats the shrimp.
So
I
if
don't blame her.
it's keeping me out of heaven, then I'm trying. I'm trying. You know what I mean? It's a work in progress. I'm broken, and I'm just trying.
Yeah, and you're not measured by. Well, I personally think that what you do on this planet means very little outside of salvation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like God, if you didn't want us to eat the shrimp tempura, why did you make it so good?
You can't reason with
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it's based on any one religion. I think it's more of a in the heart thing, which is why like Paul was telling the circumcision club that, you know, circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing. It's what you do. And if it's from the heart, then I mean I think that's what matters. So
Yeah, what is it? It's not the poison you put in the mouth, but the poison that comes out.
yeah.
And it's cool because a lot of this stuff just makes good sense, even if it's all, you know, conspiracy, Catholic, made up bull stuff. It's still, the fact is that it's good living if you look at it, and there's a lot of wisdom in there, and the prophecy stuff's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, what's another one that's coming true right now? Give me another one.
Of prophecy.
Yeah, there's the stuff that's going on in like the Gog and Magog war.
Yeah, which is Russia and Palestine.
Well, I don't know. I'm not real sure about Russia right this moment.
Yeah, Russia is Tubal, or what do they call it in the Bible? They come from the north, and the Russia's like directly north of Gog and Magog. I actually saw that field. It's massive. It's
Really?
Yeah, it's massive.
And it's supposed to come up to the bridle on a horse of all of the evil people.
Yeah, there's a Catholic a temple. I don't know what they call their buildings, but there's a weird little temple up there with like this weird ass saint, and I can't remember which one.
On the top of, wait.
I can't remember the mountain, but there's a mountain, and it's not really a mountain. It's just a really large hill. But
Are you talking about Mount Olive? Did you go to the cemetery, Mount Olive?
I went there too, and to the tomb.
That's where he's supposed to come back. You know that?
Yeah.
Like that's supposed to split in two. And two people from that cemetery are supposed to come back to life.
Yeah, the prophets, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip. I actually saw like giant tombs. They're like all over the place there, where they're
really
creating giant tombs. Yeah, like all these Israelis
I don't think I'm gonna
stuff.
make it.
Yeah, it's a trip. I took a picture of someone near
No,
there,
we don't have time.
but it was pretty cool. And yeah, I saw a lot of cool stuff, Galilee and all sorts of stuff. And then it's weird because you go, and I'm not talking bad about any one race or culture, but I felt fine the whole time there. I wasn't scared at all until I went into some of the Arab areas. It was weird. I mean, really weird. We went through a checkpoint and stuff.
You had to go through a checkpoint?
Yeah, and had my passport checked out by people with like machine guns and shit. It was really bizarre. And then there's like all these like kids, like 20 somethings, and they all have like military dress on, and these are Israelis all around Israel and Jerusalem, and their army, because you're forced to go in the army at 18, women too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and yeah, they all had AK-47s and stuff.
Wow.
It was a trip. It was really weird. And then we went to the Dead Sea, and there's like a bunch of overweight Arabs floating around like otters. It was crazy, man. But went to the Temple Mount, and then I did the whole, you know, put your prayers in.
Can you describe to me the Temple Mount, like the Temple Mount where it's located right now? Is it actually over the spot where they say that Yeshua was crucified, or is it further up?
Okay, so you're talking about the I can't remember what it's called. The Catholics call it like the walk of something, and you can put your hand where they say he placed his hand when he slipped. And it's worn in like 3 inches from other people putting their hands in that same spot over the last 1,000 years.
Okay, I bet there is.
Yeah, but so where the Catholics say he was taken after does not really match up with like a lot of things, and it makes sense because that place has been destroyed and rebuilt on top of each other many times over. And
so where are they saying? Where do the Jews say it actually happened?
I don't know, but where I went, it was called the Garden, and that's where they think the tomb is. Well, that's where they took us and told us it was.
Right, but that's where he was put in the tomb. So is that on the top of the walk thing that?
Nope, it's nowhere near. It's miles and miles away.
Well, they wouldn't have done that because like they handed the body to his mother and his like 2 disciples that were left. So like they weren't carrying him very far.
I'm not sure about that. There was a lot of reasonings why they chose that spot. And then there's this there's like this rock structure, and it's shaped like a skull. It looks exactly like a skull.
Like a human skull?
Mm-hmm. And if you remember, it was called, God, my memory is horrible. That's where they actually think Goliath's skull is buried. Damn it.
See, a lot of that sounds like some paganism twisted stuff that you're telling me.
Well, this is just what I was told. I don't know. I'm not vested
Yeah,
in
see
it.
that lines up with some pagan stuff that.
So this place was called Mount Golgotha, and
Okay.
people translated that means the skull, and that's where they believe he was crucified.
Okay. So it wasn't actually at the West Wall.
No.
So do we know why the West Wall is so holy then?
It's holy because that's the wall closest to where the original outside wall to the Holy of Holies is. That's as close as they can get to where they believe the original location is of the Holy of Holies. But they're not allowed to get any closer because they don't own the Temple Mount. The Arabs own it, and there's a big
There's a big debate whether they're even supposed to be there and what happened really with the 6 Days War and it coming about in one day.
Yeah, and a lot of that is semi-prophetical.
Well, did they make it? See, that's another thing. Are they making this stuff happen?
Well, I mean, that's the thing about prophecy. If they made it happen that way, it's still prophecy, regardless.
Yeah, true.
Even though, I mean, that's the cunning.
It was written 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
even if they read it and they're trying to like replicate it, that's my thing.
Mm-hmm. It's still prophecy, regardless of whether they think it's done by human hands or not.
Right. You're very right.
But logically, if you realize that free will and choice are not the same thing, then we don't actually have a whole lot of choice, you know.
I'm glad you came to talk to us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing. So we went and did some shopping after hours when everyone else went to sleep. And I'll tell you what, when I was there, and this is way before Conspiracy Town, where I lost my job and I started getting into conspiracy land too much.
You lost your job for conspiracies?
No, I lost my job and I got into conspiracies because I didn't have shit to do. Yeah. So
I might lose my job over this flat Earth conspiracy. I'm in trouble. If I talk about it at work, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Don't worry, babe. I got us.
Yeah, you're covered. So when I was there, I found it really odd that there's always stuff going on underground in Jerusalem at the old city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I went out there and it was probably like 10:30 or 11 at night. And it was bustling. It was like, you remember Fraggle Rock?
Like the Muppets?
Yeah. And they got those dozers and they're just always like doing stuff, you know?
Right.
It was like that. So we would be buying stuff and checking things out, but underneath it, you could feel a lot of shit going on. It was bizarre. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then once I started looking more at the Temple Mount and all this other stuff, I'm like, wow, they're doing stuff down there. There's something going on down there. Then
have you seen any of are you familiar with any of the near-death experiences? Mm-hmm. Like, have you looked into those at all?
Here and there.
Because like I saw this 15-year-old kid. He's like a secular kid, like any normal American 15-year-old kid. It was a couple years ago, and he had like he died for 15 minutes and came back and like pretty much laid out like what we might expect, and you should really see it if you believe in Bible prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, I like to trip out on anything. You know? I take everything and anything, and then I'll use my, you know, decision.
Well, it's in Hebrew, so you have to read it.
Then I'm not going to watch it.
It was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I did that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's no way you can know, right? And that's how a lot of things are and are meant to be. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's just how like how close he is
I feel
from what I
urgent.
see now.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I could be totally off base and totally wrong, and I missed something somewhere. But that's a risk I'm taking. Like, to wake people up and to tell them to, look at this. Stop burying your head in the sand and look at this, even if it's just a couple minutes.
Yeah. So in the Bible, they talk about the temples, right? There's only going to be 3. There's already been 2, and the third one isn't going to happen in the future, right?
It's
And
supposed to or not?
there is going to be a third temple. That's where the abomination of desolation occurs.
But is it an actual physical temple, or is it a temple within us? Because it talks about both.
I'll get there. So, because it's both, but not to everyone. And that'll make sense later, maybe, if I do a good job. But so in the third temple, any temple, it has to be blessed. It has to have, it's got to be absolutely perfect, because that's where they think God resides, and that's where they commune with him, right?
Yep.
And some of the things that have to be absolutely perfect is the dye, the color of the scars, the lines on the scars. And it took them 50 years of searching through artifacts to find the formula, and then to cultivate enough of these clams or oysters to make that proper blue. And if you ever look at that blue, it's similar to the blue on their flag, but it's it's got to be perfect. I mean, they put it through spectrometers and all sorts of weird stuff to make it perfect. But
yeah, because God is precise.
Mm-hmm. Plus, if you delineate whatever that word is, too far from the how it's supposed to be, then it starts to become incorrect, right? And false, a lie, whatever. So everything has to be perfect. The size and shape of objects. The red heifer was extinct, and then all of a sudden came back, and they were able to breed proper red heifers.
Yep.
There's a lot of other things, but in order for a temple to be quote unquote open for business, they have to do animal sacrifices again.
Well, right? I don't see why they're even building a third temple, because even when, like, 40 years after the death of Messiah, the scarlet, like, ribbon that they put on the door of the temple to show that God had accepted the sacrifice didn't turn white anymore. So, like, I don't even know why they're trying to build a third temple.
That's when he walked away, right? So they're trying to get.
No, that's when he died for us. Like, right, he is the sacrifice, but they don't want to accept that.
That's why the Bible is written for both. That's why our temple is not a brick and mortar, but it's inside of us. We are God. We are the temple.
Oh, so they're trying to get saved through their works.
Yes, that's Phariseeism.
Noted. That makes a lot of sense.
Because they don't know him. They don't know the Savior. They don't have that salvation, right, per se, as the biblical Christian view would say, right?
Well, they have the covenant written on their hearts. Like, that's ingrained in our DNA.
Yes.
And a lot of people are saying, that's another thing, that, like, a lot of people are saying that, well, I don't know about a lot of people, but a few people are saying that the 10 strands of DNA that are hidden inside of all of our DNA, when the Messiah comes back, that's what will switch on in an instant, and all of a sudden all those DNA we will be able to see, which, like, the scientists that found them call them light.
Yeah, I don't believe in DNA right now.
What?
I don't even know if DNA exists. That's how conspiratorial I've gotten after looking at too much. So I think DNA very well could be a hoax.
It could be.
So I only put things in that I can kind of do some logic around. I mean, that stuff sounds neat to me, but
the DNA helped prove the father of my daughter, because he said I cheated on him, which I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's about the extent of the DNA knowledge that I have in my personal life.
Yeah, and who knows if that's exactly what they say it is. Maybe they found something that they're calling DNA, but when they only understand
Then, well, we got
13%.
to ask ourselves this question. Then why does the Bible talk about like
Blood?
mixing DNAs?
Well, there is life in the blood, that because science wants to call it DNA and try to examine it, shouldn't take away from the validity of the blood and how important it is.
I'm just saying I have a hard time dismissing it right away.
Yeah, I'm not dismissing it.
Hey, can I take a break? Let them play some music for a while. Can we play some music for a while? Because I want to hear you play.
Me?
It's been great talking to you.
Me too. I think you're talking to me.
Yeah, I am talking to you. Because I think they're outside.
Oh.
I want to smoke a cigarette. So you guys want to play some music? I know you and your friend were talking about it.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to him for a minute. I kind of want to smoke again too. I smoke too much, but anyway, I'll stay and talk to Spec, and if I can, I'll see. I can't share a video on here and get sound because I don't know how to do it through this Hangouts deal.
I don't know how to do it.
Pass me controls.
Yeah, just share something so I can smoke a cigarette. Let's take a break.
Okay, she's gonna take a
Got
break.
2 hours
What's
from
up?
home, and I gotta work tomorrow.
Turn your mute your mic.
Okay, will do.
They're in the kitchen, Spec, and I'm in the living room on my.
Yeah, like I said, I was just you guys were talking some interesting stuff, so I thought I'd crash.
Yeah, that's cool. Big L's jumping in too, so
Okay.
Jumped in.
Same here.
Big L's in California.
What's up, Big L?
Shout out California.
How you doing, guys?
Good, man. How you been? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. How's everyone else doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I there was some I found this Flat Earth Club deal on Facebook, and well, I saw somebody saying something in one of the other Flat Earth groups on Facebook that someone was putting a Flat Earth billboard up in Tulsa, which is pretty close to me, about an hour and a half away, and it was after that Philly billboard deal, and so I sent a couple emails, and I don't know if it was me, and somebody else might have seen it too. You know, I don't know if IPS and everybody heard about it through that, because I know IPS started talking about it. I don't know if it was me that got through to him, but I sent him an email because, you know, he was talking about the Philly billboard and all that stuff. That's how as soon as I saw the information, I sent him an email, you know, went on Flat Earth Club and joined the club, and then I sent the IPS the email, and then I contacted Marisa. Like I said, he didn't say that I was, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so I started chatting with her on Facebook, and that's how I met them, and they came up tonight to meet me, and we're doing it here in Arkansas. So doing this live hangout, and they're pretty cool. They're Flat Earth activists for sure. They're gonna put a billboard. That's some pretty hardcore activism, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't partake in the Flat Earth Kool-Aid anymore. So I'm not a Flat Earther, and I'm not a glower. I'm just not partaking.
I know that. Gosh.
For letting me on. I'm auto banned everywhere now.
Guys. No. The dogs aren't accustomed to strangers, so they bark every time they go out to smoke and come back in or whatever. But Yeah, I already know Spec, man. It's cool, man. I just knew I wasn't talking and bringing the I knew that you could bring good, pretty good conversation. I don't know. I don't want to be involved in whatever people, whatever.
Yeah. I just try not to myself. It just follows me around, and unfortunately, some people get caught up because of it, and that's just giving you a warning.
No, I already know. So
Okay,
I
cool.
know everything, man. I've been doing this for a long.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man, because most people won't even let me on anymore. So, were you gonna play something? I'm actually working right now, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, let me holler at Big L. Did you come on? You want to talk to Marissa about something that she was bringing up?
I'm gonna see if some people want to come on so we can get a conversation going on or something.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I really do want to show her this article though, Helio. So if you could screen share me a little later, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Take your break and come back, and it's not a problem.
All right, cool.
All right. Who else you trying to get on here, Big L, or are you just trying to spread the word and see if people come into the chat and want to join, or what?
Yeah.
I've been trying to share it around, man. I've had up to 20 in here at one time so far,
Sweet.
But I mean, in the next few days, it'll get watched. People will see it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just really interesting, because there's so much buzz about that Tulsa billboard, but nobody knows who did it, and so and I've been talking to them, and they were like, "Hey, I'll come over," and and I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it then. We'll just do a live hangout and a physical hangout. We're gonna hang out and hang out." So I was like, "All right," and I'll try to get some people in here, try to spread the word, but
Yeah, you'll get some people coming.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, I mean, I know that I think IPS is on, and Bro Sanchez was on when I started, so just
Yeah, the whole 24/7
no.
flat Earth streams kind of killed the hangouts.
Yeah, because I mean, I went in the ODD reality, and a couple other people did too, and went in there and shared the link and stuff, and said what was going on. But it'll get around. I mean, I'll download the video and then I'll go back and listen to it and chop out the good parts, maybe and make a just a thing. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, right?
So how you been, man?
I've been great, man. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I'm just been working a lot, and
Same.
so it's hard to do these kind of things very often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm supposed to be at work in about 7 hours, or 8 hours, or no, 7 hours. But when my boss is cool, so I may call him sick tomorrow if we hang out long enough, because I'm tired of going in and being up on hangouts all night and going in and feeling like shit. So
yeah,
and we're kind of slow right now, so I may call in sick tomorrow.
Yeah.
But these
That's
guys
good, man.
having fun. I'm introducing. They've never been on YouTube before like this, and so and so it's when I first came on here talking to people, that have come across a lot of the information or been aware of a lot of other information that really just like to talk about it and research more. It's been the time of my life, of course, all my family members are like, why the hell are you on there? Who are you talking to? And they don't understand. But I guess that it does matter because I care about my family. But at the same time, I've tried to talk to them about it, and nobody wants to talk to me about it. So I'm talking to you guys.
I've been watching these atheist and theist debates lately. What's your opinion on atheism, or what's your stance?
Well, isn't it based on the religion of heliocentrism and the Big Bang Theory? Most atheists actually either believe that or some may have issues with it, but
Well, a
But
lot of theists, believe in the heliocentric model as well.
yeah, and I always bring that up as well. But I mean, as far as atheism goes, most of them are evolutionists and believe that everything happened on accident through the Big Bang theory on up to all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where the alien theory comes from too, because if we developed an intelligent life here on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
possibly millions of years ago, there was another planet that did the same thing. That's the whole alien thing too. So I don't necessarily not believe in aliens, but I also think that there are. I mean, looking through history, there are in archaeology there have been found some anomalies with the human form, people that look like aliens, but I've never seen evidence of any living aliens. I've seen some archaeological evidence of humanoid beings that had different forms, but that actually were buried here on Earth. But I've never seen evidence of, well, I actually was for a long time not even interested in alien theory because I know evolution's bullshit. So I was thinking there ain't nobody from this outer space. So I was concentrating, just like I do now with the flat Earth. I concentrate on what I see right up across when I look across the plane, or you dig and find stuff, but it doesn't happen because most archaeology is you discover things after they've been buried rapidly by water. So you, like they say, they find skeletons of things in the ground rapidly by water, or in some type of burial, tomb wise, for as far as humanoid beings, but any and I'm not an archaeologist, of course. Okay, I'll get on there and say bye to everyone. No, they got to go. They got to get back to Tulsa, and so, and I probably go to bed pretty soon too. But I just wanted to open this up, and I'm not ending the show right now. We can talk a little bit more, big deal. But I wanted to get them to get about in here and say goodbye to everybody that enjoyed the conversation. So, yeah.
Is this going to be where I can link to listen to the rest of this? What you guys talk about when I get home?
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'll be on, but because like I said, I have to work in the morning at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, me too. And we didn't sleep much today because we were going to drive over here, and it's a 2-hour drive back home, and kind of tired. So
Yeah,
I think I'm going to call it a night, and I'd love to do it again.
yeah,
Like maybe I got internet. I can, now that I know how to do it, we can do it again.
yeah. We can do it from over there, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be great. I
And
know it's kind of late where you guys are at.
I'm sorry.
I know it's kind of late where you guys are at.
Yeah, it's 1:04 in the morning, and it's a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive, like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something.
It's like just under 2 hours.
I'm gonna go now that I know where the new billboard is, because I have it at 2 different locations. So one is the one that's the billboard that was up and that most people have seen, but there's another one where it's a rectangle and it's actually got is the earth flat all on the same line. So I'm gonna go and get pictures of that and post it. So I'll post that in the club.
Pretty much, we got one going to the airport, and we got one coming from the airport. So
Those were the best locations that I could come up with what I had to work with and the amount of time I had to work with, because as soon as I saw, like, the Philadelphia one pissed me off enough that I was like, I'm just gonna do it myself. Sorry. But that's really what happened. So it all came together in like less than a week, actually. So maybe I can, if we do another one, if we can raise funds, because that was quite a blow to our savings. But
Yeah, it
if we
was.
can get another one up, we will definitely do that. Like I said, I'm willing to put everything that I have into this.
Well, there are several around the going on around that are crowdfunded. Maybe we should, and they are, I believe. I haven't really been seeing where there's a collaboration. There's links. I can't remember the name of the site that IPS has going or whatever. But if you see what's going on, there's plenty of GoFundMe campaigns going on for several billboards now. And,
Yeah, I might even invest in some of those.
But maybe the next one you can put in Oklahoma City. It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, maybe with a different proof or something. I mean, something else to like grab attention.
Yeah.
Like we'll come up with some designs or something. But if you guys got anything, you can find me in Flat Earth Club, or hit me up directly on Facebook. My email is seeyoulater02 on there. If you can't find me just by typing in my name. So we're
Get on
gonna go.
Facebook. Yeah, if you're on Facebook, go to join Flat Earth Club. There's been a lot of good stuff going on ever since they put the billboard up. I think they've added 400 members.
Yeah, 400, and they're all waiting to ask questions. So if you have somebody that's,
Or if
is
someone asks a question to you.
I'm trying to make it an information site only, where the people that are actually coming to do research have a good place to go instead of going to that Flat Earth Society, since that's the first thing that pops up when you Google is the Earth flat. That's my thing. So if you tell people if they need to know where to get the information from, it's in Flat Earth Club. Okay, so it was very nice talking with y'all, and I hope to do it again soon. So
It's
good
been
night.
great meeting you guys. I'm gonna mute
Okay,
for a
good
little
night.
bit and tell them
You guys have a good night.
bye. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, don't let us keep you up. If you need to close this down soon, I mean, go ahead. If anyone start a new one out there, I mean, I'm wanting to join. I'm gonna be up for a while.
Yeah. I can drop just as easily, so don't stay up on my account. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and drop. Good seeing you, Big L, Helio. Thanks for having me. If you can do another one and you want me to hang out or need a spot filled or whatever, just hit me up. I sent you an invite on the Hangouts website, so check your invites box.
All right, sweet man. I think I'm gonna do the same.
All right, take it easy, Big O.
All right, peace.
Yeah, I came back. You guys are gone. That's fine. I probably need to jump off anyway. I appreciate you joining Spec and talking to Marissa and Big L. Appreciate you jumping on it. I didn't know when they were leaving, so it's getting pretty late here. So appreciate everyone who stopped in, and I'm probably going to have a hangout Thursday night. I mean, this is a really good chance. I'm going to have a hangout Thursday night and have anonymous guest on. He's got a lot to say. I don't ever have a lot to say. I just like to talk. I like to hear people's conversation and throw my little 2 cents in every once in a while. But so yeah, if you're, I'm going to do it again Thursday night, and we'll see what happens. Anonymous guest has a lot to say, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. I think I'm going to call it, what the hell did he say the other day? Conspiracy. I can't remember. Anyway, we're going to talk about everything. And if any other cool people want to jump in, I'll see how the conversation's going. We'll see what's up. But thanks everyone. And Earth is flat, y'all. It appears to be, at least anyway. Later.